Friday, November 1st. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to give an update, and there's always lots to share. I'm going to try to focus on a couple of things per video, and today I'm going to be focusing on our brassicas. So we have a cauliflower here that we're going to harvest soon. This is Bishop, and this one was grown in the summer. It's a little bit smaller than usual. It looks pretty big on my hand, but that's because we let it grow a little bit and it matured, and it kind of starts to spread out a little bit. Over here, about a couple weeks ago, we had a cauliflower that was growing all summer, and we had a really nice harvest from it. So I'm going to put some photos up for you to see of that harvest. And I'm going to come back this way. We have another cauliflower plant that hasn't headed up, which is good. It's probably going to give us a nice big crown at this point because these are sowed at the same time. That one probably just did what we call bolting. It rushed to make a head. And then next to it, we have another type of brassica. This is the sprouting broccoli. And the sprouting broccolis are Gailon and broccoli hybrids. There are different varieties and they have different characteristics. Some are closer to Gailon, some are closer to broccoli, and then some are somewhere in between. And the most famous one is broccolini, and that's kind of a in between. Here, this is closer to Gailon. So you look at this, it looks like a Gailon stalk. And what's nice about these types of sprouting broccoli plants is that they are a cut and come again type of plant. So here we'll pinch this off, we'll leave a couple nodes, and then it'll grow into another one. So you can see where they're callousing. Those are from a previous harvest. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. So these were harvested, and you can see. So this variety is Happy Rich. It's a very sweet, crunchy, yet very tender sprouting broccoli, and it's closer to Gailon, as I mentioned. Here we have our potatoes that are sprouting, and then we have a red acre cabbage. You can see the raccoons came and dug at it last night. So we're safe for today. You'll notice wire, and this is to protect our plants from being dug up. This is another type of sprouting broccoli. I'm noticing the leaf curl, and we have some aphids here. So this is telling me that I need to come in with some compost tea and water the plants and give them a little bit more of a boost against pests and disease. So this is a type of sprouting broccoli that we're growing for the first time with some success. Previous attempts, the plants were dug up. And this one, I'm just blanking out on the name for the moment, so I'll come back to it. Melody. Here we have Eastern Magic broccoli. This one's ready to harvest. And after we take the main crown off, it's going to produce side shoots for us. Different plants have different productivity. Some make a lot of side shoots, and they keep going for a long time. Hopefully that's the case. We have another broccoli here. This is Monty. And Monty makes a smaller head, but it usually produces a lot of side shoots, and it's more heat tolerant. So this is a variety we grow in the summertime for those side shoots. And then we have some flowers out here, Lisianthus, sunflower, marigold. And here's some more wire that I was talking about that we lay down to keep our plants safe. This is saffron crocus that's popping up. So I'm going to take you to the edge of our property, and it's early morning right now. Just rush hour. People are getting to work. It's, I think, around 7:30. The sun's coming up. So here we have cover crop. Here in Southern California, fall, winter, early spring is a good time to grow cover crop because our summer plants can't be grown, so we have a lot of space, and we're going to harvest the sun's energy, water, as cover crop. This is a new to us cover crop. This is called Lacy Phacelia. And you'll notice next to the sidewalk, it's dry. And we keep this little section here arid because if we were to irrigate this, we're gonna lose some of the water underneath the sidewalk. And we're trying to be really water efficient. So we irrigate here, anticipating the water will kind of creep over here, and the Lacy Phacelia will get that excess water, soak it all up. This is also a drought tolerant cover crop. So my hope is that it'll grow low, cover this exposed portion, and then we'll have a green manure to harvest. And then next to it is a row of wheat. This is durum wheat that we grow as a low border. We collect the seeds as chicken treats and the leaves as straw, hay, and other uses in a regenerative manner. And then next to the wheat here, we have a row of corn that's growing. So the corn variety is a Peruvian corn, KUEU, chuli pie corn, and then we also interplanted some Japonica striped maize corn in there as well. So they're along there, and you can. This is a better shot of this row of the lacy Phacelia and the wheat that's growing in. Right now, this drip tape, the valve to this drip tape is shut off. So it's right there. It's shut off, and the drip tape was just to get the seeds going, and once they get going, there's plenty of water for them to drink. We have artichoke that's waking up. I don't remember them waking up so early. So this is why I like coming out in the morning. When the sun comes in at the angle, the plants glow. It's got that really nice, warm glow. All right, I'm gonna take you to the backyard, side yard. I don't know if you're gonna pick up the crunching here. So there's always something to show you, like our citrus. So in another update, I'll go into more detail about our citrus. Real quickly, this is a alternate bearing year, so the citrus aren't gonna be as big. They're smaller this year. We have the Robertson Neighbor Orange. It's picking up color. This is a early maturing variety. And so back here, more brassicas. Those are your cabbages. That include cabbages like this Chinese cabbage. And the most favorite and famous variety is Napa. So whenever people see this type of cabbage, they call it a Napa cabbage. A Napa is just a variety. This one is a Rubicon, and it's supposed to grow well during the summer parts or warm parts, or I should say heat tolerant. So we grow this one we select this one for the heat tolerance to ensure that we can better grow it year round. This one is another sprouting broccoli that we're attempting to grow. So we're putting a little bit more effort to protect it. This is BC 1611. So we're gonna see how it grows. Here is traditional Gailon that we already harvested, and I discovered that with Gailon you can get at least 2, possibly 3 harvests out of each planting. So we cut it down, leave a couple nodes, and they grow into another set of Gailon stalks that we can harvest, and then from there we may get one more. It just depends on how well the plants establish. And then in here we have some bok choy. So we eat a lot of brassicas. Some bok choys. These were direct sowed in these green stalk planters. And then yesterday I transplanted some more bok Gailon. So we have a early jade and noble jade. They're in here. Same thing with the planter over here that you just saw. There's a couple of varieties over there. And then we got some bok choy here. Still playing around with these planters to see if we can get bok choy grown on top of this platform here, I'll call it. We have carrots. You'll notice the uniformity in the sprouts, and these are from pelleted seeds. I find pelleted seeds are very convenient and worth the extra cost of the convenience, and so we can grow them. And the variety is Bolero, and I also find that these 2-gallon containers are perfect. We're growing the 6 to 8 inch sizing. If we let them grow, they'll get much larger, like a supermarket size. But for carrots, if you get them when they're 6 to 8 inches, just like with other vegetables like zucchini, they're most sweet and tender at that time. They're crunchy, but not overly hard. This one, in this container where we wrote down Scarlet, it's a Scarlet Nantes, and the seeds are traditional seeds from a packet that you just scatter. So I scattered some, and it looks like we may have something that just popped up right there. And Scarlet Nantes is another good type of carrot. Let's see what else is over here. Let's see, not much, just waiting on rain to come. We leave this planter arid, so it's nice and hard and compact. So waiting for the rain to get that all soaked up. We have potatoes that we're planting. We got these yuzu branches that are good for protecting our plantings from being dug up by a raccoon. And then I would have something to report on this bed because we had some brassicas in here that were sown late summer outside, but the chickens came in and started pecking at them. I was sure it was a chicken, and so I put our Ring camera here, and sure enough, they're very mischievous. I was right behind up there working on terracing our north slope there, and they just jumped over and helped themselves. So I think it's because I let this line here. I also have this line here. You'll see there's a low fence. I don't know if you can see, but I think that kind of keeps them out. And they know not to come in here because they're trained to not come in here. When they come here, I would splash them with some water, and that kind of what keeps them trained. So you'll notice the fencing is very low. And even over here, this is just kind of a visual cue that they're not supposed to be over here. And so when you train them, you can kind of keep them out of an area. Otherwise, even with a tall fence, they can fly or climb over. So we have this guava here. This is a smaller one now. We already picked the larger ones. This is a Vietnamese white guava. I believe that's what they're called. They're super, you eat them when they're super hard and crunchy. And then over here we have a red Malaysian guava. And this one will show you the color when it's ripe. So this one you eat when it's softer, and then you can also wait until they get a little bit more rosy color and eat them when they're super soft. And here's some that are up there. Let me try to find some that are not ripe yet. When they're like, this one's not ripe yet. And with this guava, while you can eat it hard, it's not as tasty as the Vietnamese white guava to eat as hard guava. And so those are our guavas. We also have some strawberry guava down this way. So let me take you down this way and show you our strawberry guava. There's quite a bit of them this year, and I didn't get around to eating them all. And they're smaller as a result. Oh, the trash cans are blocking. I don't know if you can see them. So they're over there, and they're super sweet when they're ripe. They're like honey sweet. And while they're called guavas, they're not really guavas. They look and taste like guavas, but they're not. Botanically, they're not the same type of plant. So one last thing I want to share, which is some things about food and culture. And the Vietnamese white guava, when I said they're good when they're hard and crunchy. Oh, I see one. Let me go in there and see if I can bring it up closer for you. Here's a good size one. Let's go through this little jungle here. This might be a little bit too far along because it's light green in color in terms of hardness. It's still firm. There it is. And in Southeast Asian cultures, in terms of progress compared to Western cultures, it's catching up. And so the Southeast Asian culture is mostly, I'm not sure if it's true today, but when I grew up, and I was born in the early 80s, is mostly a forage type of culture for agriculture, because there's not a way to protect your crop from wild animals. It's a very, very densely biodiverse ecosystem where there's lots of different types of animals that will eat your fruit, or if you're foraging it from the wild, they're after the fruit. So what ends up happening is you're going to have to eat the fruit that is still hard before the animals want it. And so as a result, a lot of the fruits in Southeast Asia, they're enjoyed while they're still green. Like for instance, the guava, mangoes. And I'm trying to think of other ones. The Java plums. I think they're called Java plums. Not Java plums, but the green type of fruit. So unless they're super astringent, like a persimmon, you would wait till it ripens. But usually you're also eating it while it's hard and crunchy. Over here, this guava is better enjoyed while it's soft. And one of the things about the hardiness is it affects the jaws and your teeth over time. And so you may have seen some interesting research or observations about the evolution of the human jaw and the teeth. And I was just kind of thinking recently how, like, in martial arts, when you do a lot of training, the bones in your knuckle and your body gets denser because of all the impact, and it's just adapting. And I wonder if it's also the same thing when it comes to teeth. When you're jawing on something really hard, it kind of makes your teeth and molars more dense, and you're less likely to get cavities and the like. So that's something interesting to research on, is dental health and hardiness of food, and also the way the jaws have changed because of diets changing, and that's because of progress and how we're able to protect our crop from animals and allowing the fruit to ripen and soften. And those are kind of the things that I am interested in. All right, I was trying to keep this video short, but I'm looking at the clock here and we're at 20 minutes. I just wanted to show you those few things that we're still eating before we harvest, and the next update you'll miss. And I'm coming back this way and miss a couple things, so stick around for a couple more minutes while I talk about our bitter melon and our weather this year. So weather is a present thing, climate is a long-term average, and this year fall has been late to arrive, summer's hanging around, and that means we still have things like bitter melon. Let me set down this guava. I'm gonna stick it in my pocket. Here we go. We got some bitter melon that's still hanging around. They're not as big as summertime. There's not the heat to drive the growth, but these are still edible. And I'm the only person in my family that eats bitter melon. The kids don't like bitter melon. It's something that they kind of, if you introduce it to them, something that I think they will enjoy when they become adults like I do. So these are good. Slice them up and stir fry them with some black bean sauce. That's a quick way to eat them. But in this preparation method, they're still going to be very bitter. Another way is to section them and put them in a bone broth. That tamps down the bitterness. It's a good way to introduce it to kids. And the third way is to cut them into rings, stuff them with some fish paste or a pork paste, pan fry it with some bean sauce, and that's always good to introduce kids with. They may not eat the bitter melon part, but they'll be exposed to that taste when it infuses into the sauce and the proteins. And then the other thing that we have that's still growing are eggplants. And this one's been producing a lot. I had to cut back the plant, and we shared quite a few. So here's another one. I try to harvest them when they're about this size. This one's gotten a little bit too big, but still edible. So eggplants, bitter melon, and jalapenos are three traditional Guangdongese type of vegetables that you can stuff with fish paste and pan fry up and put it over on a bean sauce. Is really tasty. So something to aim for on this channel when we go back to cooking videos is to cook those up for you as a demo to show you how they're enjoyed. And with that, we're gonna end this video. I got this guava washed now. I read about raccoons spreading ringworms, and now I'm spooked, so I wash every piece of fruit. I used to just eat something off the tree,